Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spoiler Alert. I haven't done one of these in a long time. So here when we do Spoiler Alert, there is usually some reason why we do it. Either it's a movie, a TV show, or something that I found on the internet to be interesting. That is the case today. Today we are watching the Munsters movie trailer. So if you guys haven't heard, the Munsters is a 60s, 70s TV show from back in the day. And they're redoing it. Yay! There's been a lot of that going on lately. So, yes, they're redoing the Munsters. I don't know why. Really don't care why. But there was one big, very blaring issue that we all noticed. And that is, it was in color. Now, for those of you guys who didn't grow up with the Munsters, don't know who they are or what they're about, they are monsters. They're monster Munsters. They are, there's a Frankenstein's monster, there's a vampire, there's a few vampires, there's a wolf boy, and their cousin is kind of the normal one. So, yeah. Kind of a mixed bag of classic monster characters being on the screen. TV show was always funny, even though it was technically in the horror genre. It wasn't really a horror. It was a horror theme, but not really in the horror genre, if you know what I mean. So it was always funny, but usually had just like a horror-themed characters on it all the time. So yeah, but it was in black and white, and there's a few reasons for that, okay? Back in the day, this was right around the same time that color was just getting kicked in. Very few people had color TVs yet, but they were becoming more and more prominent. It's kind of like 4K. Right now, 1080p is kind of still the standard. 4K is coming up. We're pushing our cameras into 8 plus K, and 4K will be the new standard here in a little bit because they are dropping in price, and then they'll probably come out with an 8K TV, and that will be the new, more expensive, newer TVs, and 4K will become the standard. So, kind of like that, in that same regard, film and TV were all going to color. It was very vibrant, bright, oversaturation, and it was good for different types of movies, but most of them were in that color spectrum of super bright, super like neon colors, and it worked for some movies, didn't work for others, but it was what it was, because sometimes you just couldn't control that. Not today, though. This is an interesting thing, because in the original, it was expensive to colorize your show. If you wanted to colorize it, you would want to have that return on investment. And, this show wasn't really didn't really get big until after it pretty much ended. It was still pretty big at the time, but it didn't get so many seasons. So the idea here is that, one, it's cheaper, easier to do. There was a thought bubble that someone had said that maybe the color version would be too scary for kids. There's that. Just different things popped up on why they chose black and white, to stick with black and white. All are valid in my opinion. So, Rob Zombie. Yes, Rob Zombie. The king of creep, if you will. Rob Zombie got his hands on the Munsters, which, if you know him, he does horror movies. Like, legit horror movies. Not really too much in the comedy side of things, even though he may have done a couple of comedies I don't know about. But it's interesting that he got his hands on this project, but it's even terrifying that he made it in color, which I would not have done personally, and I will show you why here in a second. So yes, he decided to make it in color. The actors are the actors. Can't really deal with that. Wasn't something that I could change in the trailer. But I do have a side by side for you guys. Everything in the trailer is original except for I color graded or decolor graded and overlaid them so you can see a side by side. So you can see how it should look, in my opinion, and how Rob Zombie thinks it should look in his opinion. So with that being said, let's check out the trailer for Rob Zombie's The Munsters. I did take away the actual sound off of it, so to not get hit with that kind of copyright. So it will be muted, but I'll talk over it and put myself in a little corner somewhere. So with that being said, let's jump right in. Here we go. So on the original, on the one that I didn't add anything extra more than just the color down, the deep saturation. I made it black and white. I was going to put a film grain on it, but I decided, it's not really that big of a deal how it looks in black and white. It might look good clear, because if you watch the original one, there really wasn't any film grain on it. It was pretty clean even today when you get to watch it on streaming. So I did not put any film grain on it, but you could if you think that would be an artistic choice. But I decided, skip it. But the biggest issue that I have with it is that it's not in black and white. Other than, just don't do the whole thing, just don't do it at all. The actors are okay. I can't really deal with that. The music is the original score, so that's fine. It's just that it's not in black and white. That's the biggest deal for me out of this trailer. So with that being said, let's start the trailer. Alright, so this is the original logo for the company making it, Universal Pictures. That is in black and white because, well, it was in black and white anyways. On the right you have my edit, on the left you have their edit. All I did was desaturate it and bring down the colors. Whites are going to be white, black is going to be black. As you can see, very colorized 70s stuff, which for this particular film I do not like. So to me personally, it looks better in the black and white. I like the stylization. I like the settings and the camera angles and things. I just don't like the color. It just does not look right. To me, it looks so much better in that black and white, the original creepy, grimy, black and white. So that's just, especially when you're doing comedy, it just looks better to me. Especially when you get these super colorized parts. Those are, just so no. And, because now you have color on top of really bright color on top of really bright color. It just is, But the black and white version, I think it would look so much better in black and white. A little more of that old school tone. They had this scene in black and white for some reason. I don't understand why they would have that in black and white but not have the whole thing in black and white. It just didn't make sense to me. Any part that is double black and white is how they would do it. So, yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. But, again, that's just my opinion. If you guys think something else, let me know in the comments. This was one of the shots, the house and the lady, it just doesn't work in color. Because even in the show, the neighbors would come over and they would still be in black and white, obviously, because the whole thing was black and white. I left the ending alone just because it's the ending, whatever. So, they even made Rob Zombie's name in black and white. That's another thing. But yes, I just don't like the color thing. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Personally, I think that they should do a black and white version, or have two different, choose your adventure. Do you want a color? Do you want black and white? Or do something where you make the original fans happy. I'm, of course, not an original fan, but I am a fan from before this came out. To me, this is the new Sonic the Hedgehog. Because, yeah, that was scary. So, with that being said, all in all, it doesn't look like a bad movie. It looks silly. It's 70s silly camp. That's great. It would be so much better in black and white. So, again, with that being said, I want to thank you guys for getting this far in the video. I want to thank all of my subscribers. We are growing, and if you are not a subscriber yet, think about hitting that button.
Just tap it in. Just tap it in. Give it a little tappy. Tap, tap, tap-a-roo.
Go back and watch some of my other videos. Right now I'm doing Avatar: The Last Airbender and All in the Family. So, if you're not a subscriber, think about doing it. Go back, and if you like those videos, then hit the little subscribe button. So, again, I want to thank all of you guys for getting this far in the video, and we will see you next time. Peace.